Hi, it's Nancy Joy, and it's Monday morning. And this week's reflection and quote is really about my own wounded heart, and it's a personal story that I'm just coming out of, so I was really guided to share it. So I found the quote in my own book. It's so interesting. I wrote my book really in 1996, 95, and 90, end of 95, beginning of 96. And it was really a lot about me, although it's a fiction piece, so I took a lot of license to shift and change things around in the characters, and especially. But the heart, the part of the heart, the journey into one's own pain, the value of that, and the joy it takes you into, truly poured out of me. It was easy for me to share this story. And the impetus was there was so much over the years I've learned about the emotions. I've learned about the value, the toolbox that they are. I've learned that we come with the wounds on purpose because they are our breadcrumbs back home again, back to our wholeness and our oneness. All this I know, all this I may teach, and I had so much to share with all of you that it was a joy to write. And I didn't really realize until I was done that in sharing the journey of conscious compassion and the healing of the wounded heart, I was taking a journey more deeply into myself. And it reflected my inner child, my grown-up self, my ego, all the things we talk about. I didn't realize how beautifully my soul guided me to share them. And it came so from my heart. Now, understood that it was a healing for myself. I did understand that. But I also had tremendous amount of myself wrapped up in it. And I, interestingly, got a publisher like that. Now, who writes their first book and gets a publisher like that? Well, I did. So I thought, oh, this is just, how we think, and it is in the flow, but we never know where the flow is going to take us. And this is the story of how it turned around and kicked me in the butt, because it came out in October of '06. And, of course, there was a flurry of my friends and clients who bought the book, and good feedback, and a book signing, a couple of them, and things like that, very encouraging. But suddenly it all fell flat. And suddenly it dawned on me, listen to this, no one in my family read my book. My husband didn't read it. He has since recently, very recently, this fall in fact. My two boys, who are reflected in the daughter in the story, didn't read it. My brother didn't read it. And my sister, she did read it, and then never commented on it to me. And it wasn't until we were sitting in New York last March, and I said, okay, there's an elephant in the living room. Did you not read my book, or did you read it and you were afraid to tell me what you thought? And she was just like, oh no, I thought I told you, and it was great, and I learned a lot, and blah. But the whole journey hurt me. And then I heard from my publisher, and nothing was happening, and obviously he was very disappointed. And it was fraught with rejection and pain. And how I handled it, now you would think, Nancy Joy, I handled it by going into the pain and looking at myself. You know how I handled it? I turned away from the book. I turned away from it. I stopped promoting it. I stopped talking to people about it. I stopped in my intentions and my meditations, opening toward the expansion of my book in the world. It's almost like it was my child and I rejected it. So recently, over the past 2 months, and I can't really tell you where it started, but I started to understand that represented me to me. And it's all the rejection that we starseeds, we spiritual lights in the world experience as we walk our journey. The rejection of our family. One of the major reasons I left my marriage of 25 years is I felt rejected in my truth and my spectacular spiritual journey and my unfoldment. And now, as it translates and comes down to my own Wounded Heart book. You know what it is? It's that I wrote this book for me, and then I never truly accepted it myself. My journey, my love, my heart, I was looking outside myself, to my family, to the public, to my publisher, to somebody, to say, wow, this is a great book. And I'm just now coming through that pain, because it goes back, if any of you read on my website, it goes back to the infomercial I made in 1996, to the radio show I did in 2003, to my series of guided meditations. On and on, these things I created, and then as they didn't support me the way I needed to be supported, I turned my back on them. Now, I did take them to the higher perspective. I realized the value. I know what all those things have done for the grids, for the world, and even in my own heart. And yet there was this pain. So the exciting news today is that I'm coming into self-love and self-acceptance. I'm finding that place in me I rejected. And the place I rejected is, if I don't do this right, if this isn't successful, then I'm not successful. And it couldn't be further from the truth. So I wanted to share this personal story with you today because, and I don't know why this light's doing this, weird, isn't it? I go from the light to the dark. But I wanted to share this with you today because I'm sure there's some things in your life that you've rejected because they didn't answer your neediness, your lack of self-love, your lack of knowing of who you are. And it's Monday morning. Take a moment to go on that journey. Find that place. Find something you poured your heart into and then rejected. And take it back and love it. Because, you know, it really doesn't matter what anything on the outside believes. It's what you believe on the inside. And that was my Waterloo, so to speak, my stumbling block. I didn't embrace it on the inside. I was looking for it. I was looking for that pat on the back instead of totally loving myself. So I hope you enjoyed my personal story. I hope you realize we all have wounded hearts. I encourage you to, look at this spectacular book and read it. You can get it on my website. You can get it from Amazon. You can .com. You can get it from BarnesandNoble.com. You know, it's great. It's a story that takes you to the heart of emotions, to the heart of your wounds. And it's my journey. So blessings to you this morning, Monday morning, everybody, and have a great week. You're all very close to my heart, and I'll see you next time.